And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode, week 2 of the Austintown Fitch Falcons show with TJ Parker after a big 40-6 victory over Euclid. Coach, first off, we got to start there. What a if you were a horse, you guys are Seabiscuit coming out of the gates. That was awesome. The athleticism, just the determination, and you guys weren't stopping. I mean, message delivered. Week 1. What did you take away from that week 1?
The score looks different than what maybe the game really was. We fumbled the ball twice, like near going into the end zone, both scoring touchdowns. So one was like a freak play where our receiver was looking back at the guy he was actually beaten, and credit to their kids, Euclid. The kid just hawked it down from the other side, and as he was fighting off one, the other one came, and Don Perry knows he got to tuck that thing away. Felt bad about that, but it was a very weird game. That Euclid had a lot of penalties. There was a lot of stoppages, so it was really tough to get in the rhythm. But the one thing that I really liked was when our offense wasn't converting out of gates really fast, like we did last season. It was the defense and Deshaun Vaughn who kind of sparked us. Like, they hit the opening. We knew their kid was that receiver who's going to Pitt. They hit him for a fade ball the first play of the game. Great coverage by Dan Evans. Deshaun Vaughn was over there. The kid just made a great play. And then after that, the defense has settled in. We got the ball back. We're going in to score. We fumble. Now put the defense back on the field, and Deshaun Vaughn comes up with the pick 6 to kind of get things going. And then we really settled in. They gave us a look that we kind of didn't expect. They came out in a bear to, load the box and stop the run. So it took some time to get our run game going. We got to rely on the pass a little bit more. But, I think when you look at our team, there's a lot of young guys that are playing there that it's their first time under the lights, first time we're meaningful game. And it took some time for them to settle in, but once they did, it turned out pretty nice.
There was even more kind of a glitz and glamour and shine on this game because it was the Cleveland Browns game of the week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you end up as the Cleveland Browns coach of the week and Deshaun Vaughn, the player of the week. When you have a game like that where there's so many eyes on you, now there's already a lot of eyes on you, and you add that to it, do you feel added pressure, or you just kind of shy it away, and then after it's pretty cool to think about what you guys accomplished?
Yeah, I wish it felt like that. It was just like over the last years, it just feels like week in and week out, there are these big games with different storylines that are hitting you from all different angles, and you get to celebrate it real quick that night, and then you wake up Saturday, and it's like, get things corrected and turn the page. So there wasn't that much time to celebrate. What I will say, you get a couple tidbits. You get emails from the Browns. Hey, we're sending you this, or then this comes out. That was pretty cool to kind of keep our feelings high throughout the week and have a positive attitude moving forward with some guys a little bit banged up. But, overall, great experience for our kids. But I think an atmosphere they have to get used to because, as we talked about, Cleveland Browns game of the week going up in Euclid. We've never beat them in our school's history. The last time we played them, they blew us out in the playoffs. And now you just turn the page, and now you're staring down Central Valley and basically representing the entire Whitfield. So it becomes Whitfield football versus Northeastern Ohio football.
We're going to talk about that in a minute because there is a border battle that's going to happen this Friday. And I know you're the guy that, great, 40-6 on Friday, Saturday morning. What can we do better? What did you see on tape that you guys still need to kind of, shine and polish up a little bit before Friday night?
Yeah, I thought offensively, just overall, our operation and ball security. When teams change fronts on you and do things that you're not really practicing all week, you got to rely back on things you did in camp or things you practiced for. You could say you're ready for any set, but when it's Friday night and it changes that fast, and Coach, they didn't show this, there's those mental errors. So I think it's the experience and adjustments from an offensive standpoint, but taking care of the football. We had 3 turnovers. That's very uncharacteristic of our teams. Yep. And then on the defensive end, we took advantage of they had a bigger, slower offensive line. We ran through gaps. I thought our linebackers played downhill all night. Our secondary, I can't say enough about them, just the way they cover week in and week out. But when you look at how we can get better is I think we got away with some of those things that a better team will maybe come down on us. And then when we're not gap sound or we're not there was a play that just you think of, they have a very nice running back. They ran outside zone left, and he cut back, and a couple times off the edge, our defensive ends or linebackers, whoever received gap responsibility, they were coming in wide. Yeah. They were going for the quarterback, and this kid cut right back underneath us. And instead of surfing and staying square, and then, okay, that's a 12-yard gain. Another team takes that 40 for a touchdown, or in a game, that could be the difference of the game. So it's just consistency on that end and being where we're supposed to be when we're supposed to be. And the only way you're going to do that is Friday night experience. They got to play, they got to be in games, they got to be in tough situations to move on that.
Flip side of that, any surprises pleasantly on tape that you saw and you thought, wow, this is going to be a nice year if this guy can keep it up?
Yeah, I mean, from a lot of guys that we expected. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I thought our young guys played young. The guys that we were counting on, some of the seniors, to get us through games like this and times like this, played well and stepped up. Some guys, like, we expect a big year out of Rocco DeFlorio.
Yep.
The kid had a great game on Friday, and he needs to come back and do that again and be consistent with it. Like I said, we expect great game out of our secondary. I think the one thing that I appreciated most was just the maturity of the senior class. Those guys who have been playing with us, the Dan Evans, the DJ Williams, Davion Pritchards, Deshaun Vaughns, like, you don't see it on the tape, you don't see it, but you feel it on the sidelines and you feel it as you're going through things. Marky Stancorp, Ryan Arms, like, these guys just get it now, and it's a different feeling, but just very proud of their maturity in that sense.
All right, let's talk about this border battle coming up on Friday, man. Central Valley, to those of you who don't know who Central Valley is, you said it, the pride of the Whippeal. They've got a nice little schedule, too, and when they're playing Aliquippa, they're
Yes.
playing West Allegheny, things like they have a nice schedule. You have a nice schedule. Their season opener, your home opener, there's a lot of things going on. Alumni night we talked about. Is it hard to, and I know you already got 1 week under your belt, is it hard to stay focused for that and with so many and I mean this in the best way, it's distractions, right? There's a lot of things pulling you different ways, the kids different ways. Is it hard to stay focused on the task at hand?
I don't think the kids understand how big of a game this is in terms of what the other side is going to think of this game. I think they're underestimating that a little bit.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say underestimating it. I don't think it really registers to them.
Yeah.
I think when they come out of the tunnel on Friday night and get that feeling of the mix of what I believe their side's going to bring.
They're bringing it.
And with what we have set up for that night in terms of alumni night and all the shenanigans we have going on from like 4 o'clock all the way on to game time.
It feels like a bowl game a little bit.
It's going to be a big game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very, very big game versus a very, very quality program who is not used to losing at all. I mean, they've lost 2 games in 3 years. They have 2 state titles. 2 games they lost were last year, both to Aliquippa. So, I think our kids, from a football standpoint and watching them on film, they get that. They're excited about, once the lights turn on and the ball's kicked, they're excited about the challenge. They're ready for that. They're ready to represent Northeastern Ohio, Youngstown football.
Yeah.
They're ready to represent that, and that's the message we've been sending to them all week.
And you, like me, have crossed over to that other side at the college level, right? And you know what it's like. I mean, they're just as crazy about high school football as we are. And there's a border battle that does exist. The Ohio versus Pennsylvania, obviously, a lot of pride, a lot of bragging rights on the line.
Oh, yeah.
Have you kind of let them know, like, hey, guys, this is, to your point, this is a big deal for them. Is it a big deal for you? Like, understandably, it's not Euclid, right?
Right.
It's easy to get up for a Euclid because they're huge, right? You know who they are, and you have a history. Central Valley.
That's the thing. Like, Euclid, our kids love going up to Cleveland because it's Cleveland versus, and they understand interstate.
Yes.
I don't think these – you only find out by,
you have to
know,
go
like
over
you
there.
said, you go over there.
Yep.
And the two things that stick out in my head, like, from coaching college football from that standpoint is like all you hear about is the WPIAL and Florida football. If you find someone who played in Florida, like that's all Florida talks about, and then all you hear about is the WPIAL. The WPIAL this, the WPIAL that. So from their standpoint, I really don't think they get that. And they have no idea the pride or what a yinzer is. They're going to find out what a yinzer is, and the only way I can describe it is you're getting Pittsburgh Steeler fans with Pittsburgh Steeler passion for their high school football, and this is their team.
Yeah,
this is the WPIAL's team.
Yep.
So that's exactly what's walking in. Yinzers, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
The Yinzers are coming.
We're going down at Austintown. And what's crazy is you go over there and you tell them you're from Youngstown, Ohio. Oh, what are some of the good teams over there? You say Fitch. You say all the ones, and they're like, "Who's that? Yeah. Who's that? North A?" Like they talk about West Allegheny, Aliquippa. You can't move without hearing about Aliquippa for good reason. But I'm excited for this one. This is a low-key, probably game of the week for me.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys. X's and O's, what do you see from Central Valley? I mean, you don't have much to look at because this is week 1 in Pennsylvania. So
yeah.
How do you manage that?
We got scrimmage film.
Okay.
That was we actually
tough,
went
right?
up there. Yeah, they played Moon right
Yep.
where the Pittsburgh airport is. We went up there and watched them, and to our luck, Moon runs double wing. They're running the dive, wing tee stuff. So it's like it's tough to get a good read from. But when you see some film from last year, and you go to their scrimmage and watch them, you see a team that's sound, that does what they do, that have a winning formula. They're confident in what they do, and they're a very, very tough outfit. Like, that jumps out right away. Like, every guy that plays for them, they're disciplined and they're tough.
Yeah.
So we know they're going to give us a dogfight in that sense, and it's definitely going to be a war. It's going to be a 4-quarter game. And a real tough game for our kids.
All right, you ready to step off the field? I got some good off-the-field questions for you,
Okay.
and they're all in order. And this is going to put you on the spot, so you better be ready, TJ.
You got me last time. All right.
I know we're in the same generation.
Yes.
Did you watch wrestling growing up?
I did.
All right, that's
This is a good question. Go ahead.
Who was your favorite wrestler growing up, and why?
Probably 2.
Okay.
It's a pretty easy question.
I'm gonna guess. I have one in my mind, and
I'll let you guess first, but it's 2, not even close.
Stone Cold?
Nope.
All right, I'm out.
Okay, my probably favorite was the Ultimate Warrior.
Man,
I remember I would just wear underwear and socks. You tuck socks all around. But I don't know if you remember, had the wrestling buddies.
The pillow guys.
Yes,
yep.
I had Ultimate Warrior, and then as the Warrior left, the Warrior was real when I was really young.
Yeah.
It was Bret the Hitman Hart kind of going through. And then, like the Austin years and the Undertaker years,
era.
it was like, that's when I was like fighting with my dad saying, it is real, and he's telling me, no, it ain't. And we're just fighting every time. He just got hit with the chair. That's
There's
real
dudes
blood.
going off at cages.
Yes. And so that was kind of a struggle. I watched it, but really, really in love with wrestling.
Ultimate Warrior.
The Ultimate Warrior.
I was a Hulkamaniac, so we wouldn't have been friends.
Oh, no.
We wouldn't have been friends. All right, so that's question 1. Question 2, who on your coaching staff would you want to get into a steel cage with? Against.
Oh,
who could you take? Who could you come out with a dub?
Are we talking come out with a dub or one that gets under my skin the most?
Whatever. You could be either.
I would say all right. The 2
Battle
that
Royale.
I butt heads with the most, this is probably Coach Price, our equipment guy, or Jeff Bruno, our defensive coordinator.
I love it.
Both those guys, Jeff's one heck of a coach, but he's the right guy for our staff because he's constantly pushing the envelope. He's never settled. He's always thinking of the next step. We're never okay. So he's constantly challenging me and pushing my buttons. And then Bill Price he lives that. Now Bill is probably 320 pounds, so that would be one heck of a guy to wrestle around with. But when I think of guys who know how to really jump under my skin, Bill Price is at the top. But I love the guy. He does a lot for our program and a lot for me, and I can't thank him enough. But one night,
let it go.
That's right.
Let's flip that pancake. Who's one coach you would not want to get in a steel cage with?
Probably one of my best friends, kid I graduated with, Devanzo Tate. I watched him cage fight. You know what I mean? When we got out of college, that was like the first thing he did. He fought down in Warren in a cage. So it was like he's always been, me and him have been going at it, I think, since we were little kids and fighting around. And he'd be a pretty tough opponent. You know what I mean?
Coach, thank you so much for humoring me with that. Awesome answers. Awesome answers. Good luck against Central. Bring it home to Ohio, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after this on the Austintown Fitch Falcons Show live from Sam's Wedge Inn.